Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. We talked about anxiety last week, and we'll continue on this subject again this week. So sometimes my clients come to me and say, I don't want anxiety, or I want to get rid of anxiety. My usual response is that the bad news is that you can't get rid of anxiety. Good news is you can reduce the amount to live with anxiety. Make anxiety your friend. And the reason we can't get rid of anxiety is because we're wired to have anxiety. During the Stone Ages, when we were living in caves, it was our anxiety that helped us survive. Back then, imagine you saw a lion or some animal and say, oh, there's a lion, and you have zero anxiety, and you just stand there and looking at the lion, the chances are you probably would be dead. And, and if all the humans were like that, the human race probably wouldn't have survived. So we need to have some anxiety for survival. It just becomes problem when it's too much. And now we're not living in caves anymore, so we don't need to have that that extra anxiety. So let's talk a little bit about how to kind of make anxiety your friend. Usually it's the worrying thoughts that trigger anxiety. So we need to acknowledge and accept that we have anxiety. Try not to change or judge the thoughts that trigger anxiety. And, the thoughts that trigger anxiety is those worry thoughts. Okay. And I know it's easier said than done, and it is difficult, but it's not impossible. So I'm going to give you an example. So you might get a worried thought, I will fail my exam, or I will never be happy. So just say this to yourself. I noticed that I'm having a thought that I will fail my exam, or I notice I'm having a thought that I will never be happy. So that's all. You don't need to try to change it or judge it. Use this statement when you're having negative thoughts. So any time when you're having negative thoughts, add this in front of it. I noticed that I'm having a thought, and then fill in the blank. Okay. This will create a distance between you and your thoughts. So let's talk about the acceptance. So since we are on the subject of acceptance, let's do a meditation about acceptance, which will help with anxiety, depression, addictive behaviors, and OCD. So just get yourself in a comfortable position. So this acceptance practice has 4 steps. Okay. You're going to go ahead and start now. Each time you notice strong emotional discomfort, physical pain, or distressful thoughts in your everyday life, you can take the following steps to cultivate a deep, liberating sense of acceptance. First, stop and tune into the present moment. Find a comfortable and stable position, either sitting or laying down. Then focus on your breath, noticing how your abdomen feels, rising and falling, or how the air feels in your nostrils during the in-breath and out-breath. When you're ready and feel sufficiently grounded in your breath, do your best to keep in touch with the difficult experience, whether it's a thought, an emotion, or a physical sensation. If it's not present now, try to recall it as vividly as possible. And then you can begin to direct gentle and deep attention to your inner experience by taking the following steps. Step 1, is recognizing. Keeping your breath as an anchor, become aware of the discomfort or pain and describe it precisely. Is it caused by a thought, an emotion, or a physical sensation? A sound, a smell? Do not judge it in any way. It is neither terrible nor unfair. It is simply your experience in this moment. Ask yourself with gentle curiosity, what exactly is happening inside of me in this moment? What do I consider uncomfortable in myself right now? What hurts? Bear in mind that you're not trying to get in touch with the negative event in your life, but rather with the inner states that may be activated by that event. If it is an emotion, try to give it a name. Is it anxiety, anger, sadness, disgust, shame? What name can you give it? If it is a physical sensation, describe its physical quality. Do you feel tension, pain, or cold? If it is a thought creating discomfort, try to describe its content. For example, I'm thinking I didn't do enough this morning, or someone is criticizing me. Also describe the thought's form. Is it words or statements, images or scenes? Step 2 is exploring experience. Gradually open and expand your awareness around what is disturbing you. Ask yourself some questions to further clarify what is happening within you. Where in my body do I feel this discomfort? What physical sensations am I feeling now? Direct your attention to the part of your body where the discomfort is manifesting itself. As you breathe in, imagine the air flowing into that part of your body. Observe with sense of gentle openness and welcome. Use the breath to anchor yourself in the moment. Keeping this attitude of curious attention, you can now ask yourself, what emotions, sensations, or memories are connected to this experience? For example, did this thought activate anxiety, disgust, or tension in the stomach? You might notice particular patterns or thoughts that frequently repeat themselves in judgments or feelings of fear or guilt, shame, connected to memories. Sometimes repetitive thoughts help us avoid a sense of emptiness, loneliness, unsatisfied needs, hidden fears, mistrust, or parts of ourselves we do not accept, such as difficult past events. And these repetitive thoughts often try to reassure you that everything is alright or under control, or they judge you severely and discourage you. Exploring means allowing yourself to get to know and understand the truth and the reality of your inner experience. Doing so sometimes sheds light on experiences that are beyond your awareness. For example, if you are feeling anxious, afraid, or hurt, you might ask yourself, what do I notice right now? Perhaps you might notice that memories of past failures or feelings of mistrust have been triggered consciously, giving a name to what you think or feel can reduce its pressure. If you feel lost in disturbing thoughts at times, remember to ask yourself, what is my body feeling now? This question can help you take a step back from doubts, judgments, or negative predictions, the territory of thinking mind. Make direct contact with your vulnerability and the wounds communicated by your body. This could lead to memories of feeling rejected or excluded, and then to feelings of shame, pain, or loneliness. The pain of your expectations not being met, or the pain or fear of losing someone you love, or the pains of seeing someone you love suffering, and knowing there's nothing you can do about it. Becoming aware of these parts of your experience means beginning to step out of the control they have on your life and their ability to make you feel inadequate and constantly threatened. Offer a gentle welcome and be open to whatever is emerging to ensure this exploration is a source of liberation. As you open up to this space within you, you might begin to realize that this kind of suffering is not only your suffering, it is everyone's suffering. It is part of the human condition and normal part of life. Step 3, accepting. Once you have explored the experience of discomfort, allow yourself to accept it fully. Accepting means letting thoughts, emotions, and sensations arise in your experience, allowing them to happen and giving them hospitality within yourself in a gentle way. Acceptance is an active intention to allow your present experience to be what it is without reacting to it, avoiding it, or fighting against it. It is simply a willingness to see things as they are. By staying with the experience without reacting to it. You will notice that in life everything is impermanent. Impermanent meaning everything changes, everything flows. You can observe this continuous change process in all your internal states, thoughts, emotions, and sensations. It may sometimes be useful to mentally whisper a sentence or a word of encouragement to yourself to strengthen your willingness to accept this discomfort right now. For example, you may feel anxiety and whisper, "Let it be, it doesn't hurt." You may notice a disturbing thought and say to yourself, "It is just a thought. I will allow it to be there, but I will not engage it." You may experience deep pain or sense of emptiness and whisper, "It's okay. Whatever I'm feeling is okay. It is only a harmless experience in this moment. It will not last long." In this way, you will learn to soften your defenses and feel a liberating sense of openness to the continuous flow of experiences. Notice if you have any resistance to accepting your discomfort in this moment. Sometimes the very idea of allowing and accepting causes strong resistance. You might say to yourself, "How can I accept such terrible thoughts?" Or how can I say to myself that it's okay when I keep feeling anxiety, disgust, or shame? Acceptance is not a question of liking what you're feeling. It's simply allowing yourself to feel the present experience and avoid spending energy trying to change something that is, in this particular moment, cannot be changed. It saves your energy for changing what is instead possible and useful to change. Often a single attempt at acceptance is not enough. It may be necessary to repeatedly allow and accept, and to try to recognize the more subtle way in which you resist fear and pain. Now we're going to move to step 4, letting go. Focusing on your breath, do your best to create a distance between yourself and the comfortable experience. Recognize that you are not this experience, and you assert that this experience is impermanent and will disappear sooner or later. Become aware that you are not what you think, feel, or perceive. Avoid any resistance or reaction toward the uncomfortable experience. Just simply leave it as it is and notice how it changes over time, just by doing nothing. When you have disturbing thoughts, welcome and accept them in a kind way without reacting to them, regardless of their content, without judging them, without judging yourself for thinking them. Recognize that they are simply harmless, passing, and transient mental events. If they are useful, use them to your advantage. But if they are not useful, simply let them go. Breathe with them and accompany them with sense of softening, opening, allowing. Allow yourself to gently breathe into all of this. letting it be there, letting go of all attempts to change anything, let go of fighting and resisting. Let yourself relax and what emerges in each moment with each breath. As you allow yourself to feel all this more and more deeply, you may begin to feel a space inside of you expanding until it includes all the hurt and disappointments, all the loneliness and losses, even the traumas and tragedies. Relax as this great space opens inside, receiving whatever each moment brings to you. Let go without changing anything, letting it all be there just as it is. And this letting go, allow yourself to be as you are. You can allow things to be the way they are. And as you relax, you may begin to feel a sense of freedom in letting be and letting go, and not trying to change things, yourself or someone else. This freedom comes from accepting pain, fear, and disappointment as part of life without having to change anything. In this letting go, you may perhaps feel peace and silence and relaxation, expanding in the peace and silence. Now slowly allow yourself to return to your body and breath, feeling your body laying down or sitting, and taking some deep and mindful breaths, cultivating a deep feeling of letting go. Lastly, expanding your awareness for your whole body and the space surrounding you. And in this openness, you can remind yourself that you are much more than this pain and discomfort. Finally, you may direct a sense of sincere gratitude toward yourself for granting yourself this time and this space of deep healing contact with yourself and your suffering. If you had your eyes closed, you may open your eyes and bring yourself back in their own. And this concludes acceptance meditation. Thank you, and we'll talk again next week.